K-pop has reached yet another milestone. Following multiple Grammy nominations that fell short of a win, K-pop has finally taken home its first Grammy trophy with Golden from the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack. Today, we connect with K-pop expert Jeff-Benjamin to unpack what this milestone really means. Welcome, Jeff.
Welcome, Jeff.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me for exciting segments.
We are super excited. I hope you like the doomy look that I have today, Jeff.
Oh yeah, you both are golden actually. I like it.
Well, Jeff, I read your contribution on Forbes and other commentaries on this. So first off, how big of a moment, how big of a golden moment is this for Golden? And how have been the reactions been among people in the music industry in the US?
Yes, well, rightfully so. It's been noted that this is a historic moment. I'm not going to argue with the New York Times when they say K-pop history has been made and that this is the first time K-pop has truly been recognized and with a major win at the Grammy Awards. And it's been really, really cool, not just to see that, talking about the fact that it's golden and recognizing it as a separate case on its own, but really recognizing that, yeah, this was a big win for K-pop. This was a big win for the Korean music industry at large. And, a lot of people having kind of nuanced discussions actually about, what does this mean for the future of K-pop? Golden arguably isn't the most obvious K-pop song in the way many fans might know it. But, what does this win kind of mean for the future of K-pop in that way? So it's been really cool to see the industry, the media, everyone kind of having a really good time and having really thoughtful discussions about this.
And among other nominations, it was the Best Song Written for Visual Media Grammy that Golden received. So what exactly does this category represent and how prestigious is it for songwriters in the music industry?
Yes. So, like you said, it is the best song written for visual media. And these are for songs written specifically for film, television, video games, or other visual medias. So it would need to be an original song that was written by the songwriters. And like you mentioned, it is an award that goes to the songwriters. So even though someone like the Huntrix members did sing on this song, they would not be the ones awarded for this. It would go to the songwriters, which included EJ, who sings and wrote on the song, but also Teddy, Blackpink's main producer, and all his groups of producers. And this is a category I believe is somewhat relatively new. Sometimes these visual medium categories have actually been kind of growing and expanding in recent years. They've recently added a category for video game music recently at the Grammys. So these are kind of a new category, but certainly prestigious in the sense of, to be honest, any Grammy is really prestigious. While, of course, you have those main four big awards, of course, being Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, and Best New Artist. Still, I gotta say, Best Song Written for Visual Media is a big one, not just because I think it only stays at the Grammys, but these are the songs that usually give us an indication of how the Academy Awards might work out or how, the Oscar Awards and who might win at the Oscars. So it's a big one, not just for the Grammy itself, but also maybe what it can indicate for future award shows.
Right. And I also feel it's very interesting to see because we have so many people that were involved in making this one soundtrack golden. So with this win, you can also really see how many people these days are really involved in making such a hit song, right?
I agree there. And K-pop has often been discussed in terms of, let's say, performance and also the fandom. But with this win, Jeff, can we say that K-pop's songwriting and production system itself has now been recognized by the American mainstream music industry?
I think that's a great way to put it. And I think it's significant because while there have, like I was talking about this discussion about how, yeah, maybe Golden or K-pop Demon Hunters aren't that traditional K-pop that many fans or that kind of fall into those typical performances or fandom discussions. It is at its heart, definitely created in that K-pop sense. Have songwriters like EJ who have done, huge songs, huge classic K-pop songs for Red Velvet or aespa. You have someone like Teddy who's just been an icon in Korean music since the 90s. His production team, the people who have been working on Blackpink songs and Rosé songs and things like that. So at its core, I think like exactly what you guys are saying, that this is just like a big moment to kind of recognize the internal structure of K-pop and that production and those people, those creatives behind the K-pop that don't always get the kind of recognition or that fair shot that many times the K-pop artists are given. But I think they're just as significant and just as important to make sure that we do recognize them and show that love for them. So personally, I love the fact that we did get to see the producers go up and accept the award. We saw producer 24 accept the award, speaking in Korean and English during his speech. I just thought that was such a cool moment, and very cool to see these guys who are always behind the scenes finally get a bit of moment in the spotlight.
Right.
Right, and it's not unusual. Soundtracks from animated films have made an impact on the Billboard charts before, but it is rare for a soundtrack song like Golden to sustain a long-running #1 position worldwide. So in your view, what really distinguishes this case from, let's say, past animation original soundtrack successes?
Yeah, I think starting on Netflix is always a great way to start. Netflix just being such an accessible platform, a place where so many people are, whether they, were ready to tune into K-pop Demon Hunters the moment it came out, or they were just casually looking at it on their screens. And that goes for adults, that goes for children, that goes for families. This thing definitely had a wide appeal, right? But the key moment, I think, with K-pop Demon Hunters and Golden specifically was that there was definitely a targeted approach when it came to this song. Very early on, when K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack was starting to get get a lot of great motion, a lot of great streams, particularly in the US and globally. Republic Records, who put out the album, decided that Golden was the song that they were going to focus on first and foremost as, the title track, if you want to say, but also the song that they were going to focus on for awards. So naturally, it was about getting this song as much visibility as possible, making sure it had mainstream moments, pushing it on US radio, getting opportunities for the song to be on US television. I feel like I've seen EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami, the three singers in Huntrix, behind Golden. I feel like I've seen them on my television so much recently, just really giving it their all for this song. So it's kind of, it's one thing to really, have a popular song, have a popular soundtrack. A great example is Encanto, which was a very popular soundtrack. But K-pop Demon Hunters really made sure the crossover happened with Golden specifically. And actually right now we're seeing the song, the first song, not How You Like That, but What It Feels Like, or How It's Done rather, is getting the next push at radio. So we might see that one make a big impact next.
Okay. Now, Jeff, let's also talk about Rosé, because she drew major attention as the first Korean solo artist to perform at the opening stage at the Grammys, alongside Bruno Mars, of course. Well, the stage was great, no doubt, but she didn't win an award there. So from your perspective, why do you think that she fell short of taking home a Grammy?
Yeah, there's so many factors that come into this. Let's be honest. there's so much great music that did get recognized this year, but also great music that didn't get recognized. So, I know it's cliche to say that it's an honor to be nominated, but I really do think it was amazing to see her get nominated and this song specifically get nominated for Record of the Year, but also Song of the Year. Song of the Year being the award that recognizes songwriters. And the fact that we have a song inspired by a Korean drinking game, Korean culture, getting recognized specifically for its lyrics on the Grammys, I think that's just such a cool moment and such something really worth celebrating. And I don't know exactly, why it didn't win. I don't think anyone would complain when you lose an award to greats like Kendrick Lamar or Billie Eilish. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if it's just they were a little ahead of their time in terms of just having a song and having that representation where people were willing to recognize that this is a huge track, but maybe not give it the win in the end. But I think, just like any moment, whether we go back to BTS or this moment with Appa 2, it's a wall that's been broken down, and hopefully we just continue to rise, and we see K-pop just continue to rise in that way as well.
Right. There was a lot of very tough competition in those categories that she was nominated in. So, like you said, that she was actually just in those categories is an achievement in itself. But back to Golden with this achievement, it seems likely that not only K-pop artists, but also Korean songwriters and producers will see a shift in their standing within the US market. Do you think that's already happening, though?
I do think it's happening, and I think it's been kind of happening in a way for a while, just in the sense of we're seeing a lot more of these like crossover collaborations happening, seeing, more artists and kind of the producers and the songwriters who have typically worked in those K-pop worlds get chances, beyond the K-pop world, and seeing a lot more collaboration in that space. I think this, though, in particular, will be a really great moment. And I hope, the US industry recognizes that these are kind of, these are core members and representatives of K-pop music and the industry in that way. And being able to collaborate and getting the chance to collaborate can actually be, a huge moment and super beneficial in that way for all different kinds of artists. It really just took a moment like Golden with K-pop Demon Hunters to be able to really show that someone like EJ, is finally getting her moment in the spotlight, or seeing Teddy, get a Grammy in this way, a name I've heard since I became a K-pop fan, over almost 20 years ago. So all these things are just, so exciting to see. And I think it's making a larger impact than maybe we might even realize, and we'll soon see the results throughout the future of pop music for sure.
All right, Jeff, just very quickly, we've got BTS and Blackpink returning. Do you think that there is a high chance that this Grammy win that we have this year could influence next year's awards?
I want to say I hope. It's tricky because Blackpink and BTS operate as essentially idol groups. Very accomplished, amazing idol groups in that way. But Golden and Appa 2 and even Hybe's global girl group Cat's Eye, they kind of operate in a bit of a different way than traditional K-pop does. My hope is that, yes, this moment with Golden does help break down people's barriers, breaks down their biases, and lets people see Korean music not as something that needs to be othered or something that, can't win a Grammy, but now, it might open people's eyes to, hey, this is incredible music and it is trophy worthy, and maybe we'll see a bit more recognition in that way, and we can only hope that those moments of visibility, those moments of recognition really kind of come through and just pave the way for more successes and more achievements in that way. That's my hope.
That's our hope as well. Well, thank you very much, Jeff, as always, for your insights today, and talk to you next time.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, thank you guys. Stay golden.
And thank you, Walter. We're going to have you back next week.
See you next week.